Denied.
2 weeks, 2 pins hit.
Denied. Gotta get better.
I blame the caddy. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So, following on from last week's potentially somewhat controversial golf ball test, Michael.
And people watched it. I got a lot of notes over Instagram and email being like,
The
I got
aftermaths.
threatened if I ever showed up to the golf course with a $20 golf ball in my bag, they wouldn't play with me anymore, but oh well.
They're already in your bag.
I know, that's true. I'll try them.
So continuing on from that, guys, we're kind of going in a little bit the other direction towards maybe where the value lies in golf ball sort of purchasing. We have done some tests with OnCore golf balls in the past, but we have the VERO X2 to test.
Yeah. They've been around for a while. I mean, they're almost considered locals. They're close to us. They're in Buffalo.
Just over the border.
Just over the border. I mean, you said some stuff when you tested it last time that you wish they had a higher compression, a little bit firmer golf ball. And that's what this guy is. Yeah,
I think, we saw some speeds from it that we thought the golf ball felt great, but for some players who look for a little bit more ball speed out of it, the higher compression certainly gives that, and this is now up there in the 95 compression territory. So previous one was 85, so you're going to feel that maybe a little bit more clicky feel, or we'll see if that's what it is, but you would imagine that's what you're going to get from it.
Looks premium from the inside, like we were all kind of, you always look at a golf ball and you make sure the logo's not too big or shiny or something like that. This looks like same line as a TP5 or a ProV1 or anything like that.
It definitely does. It does look quality material-wise, and it has the cast urethane cover. It has the 4-piece construction. Has that sort of mantle layer that they use. Again, perimeter weighting is something that OnCore talk about when it comes to golf balls. We know about that in irons and club head development, but we don't often hear about that in the golf ball.
Yep, there's a little bit of metal in this one as well. A trend. So we're going to test them out, guys. But I think one thing to note with OnCore is from a technology standpoint, and this is something that they've kind of expressed to us, is that they are direct to consumer, but they're not direct to consumer in the way that some are. Right. So they are truly developing technologies with this. There's innovation technology. There's lots of ways to go about this sort of cheaper price point. One way is to go to a factory, source a golf ball, and put your name on it. Yeah.
That is the way a lot of direct-to-consumer business is done, guys, just being honest about it, right? There's really not a lot of innovation that goes into it. You might get some options and go, yeah, okay, that one looks like it has these characteristics X, Y, Z, but this is something that the guys are actually doing some significant testing and development on. Do they have a ball plant? Do they have, test robots and stuff like they have down at Manchester Lane and these types of places? No, of course not, right? It's a smaller company, but they are developing to try to get better, tighten their tolerances and produce the best golf ball for sub kind of premium price point. Now, it's not cheap.
No.
We're not going to call these cheap by any means. I think I saw recently, Max Flyer doing their golf ball, which always tests well, like 48 for 2 dozen.
Okay.
This is $50 a dozen.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not going to be put in the cheap category because it's not a cheap product.
Yeah, almost average pricing these days.
Almost. So it's a quality product. It does come with some direct-to-consumer, multiple dozen. You get some discounts on it, etc. We do see that with some of these models online. So let's see if it's a little better than before.
Okay.
50-yarder, Michael?
Yeah, start with the 50 yards, see what it does. Yeah, we always talk about it, but it sounds premium. Sounds like a Pro V or a TP5.
It feels it as well, I'll be honest. It does feel it.
Well, as a start, it's over 5,000 spin from last week.
Progress.
5 easiest shots we've had. Ooh, easy game.
Easy money this morning, Michael.
Denied.
2 weeks, 2 pins hit.
Denied. Gotta get better.
I blame the caddy.
Strike. Sounded good.
Your hands a saver.
Sounded really good. Purina. It's a good swing. Scared.
All right. It's a little right. All right, Mikey boy, a really simple, straightforward test.
It's a quick test.
It was, yeah, we're literally 10 minutes in here.
The ball performs.
There's nothing, and this is a really good compliment for the golf ball. There's nothing that's kind of stands out that draws your attention to the golf ball.
Right, yeah.
It's just, it feels like you would expect it to feel. It flies great. I'm looking up at the numbers going, yep, looks good.
Yep.
I would say probably I thought the dispersions looked really tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I'm being careful not to try to draw a conclusion on anything other than speed, launch, and spin, because we're not testing properties of anything else other than that indoors. And guys, we are actually talking about getting out in the winter time here as we go to some of our trips, taking a lot of these golf balls we have now in-house for testing and getting out to a location and doing all of these tests, kind of doing them again outdoors and do the aerodynamics test on it. So I think that'd be awesome. But I mean, there's just no surprises. Like, we're kind of setting up these yardages based on my numbers. 50, 134, 175, 280 on the fly. Like, those are all my carry numbers.
Yeah. Like I said, the first thing when we tested the 50-yard wedge shot, and I think that's probably the most important shots that we hit in the whole test is these 50-yard shots. Right out of the gates, it performed spin-wise as a ProV1 would spin for you, whereas last week we tested something, it was, 5,000 spin.
And that's why we always test against, obviously, ProV1, because the consistency of ProV1 or ProV1X is the benchmark, right?
Yeah.
It's so revered across the industry that we all know that, well, if it compares to a ProV1 or ProV1X, it's, the company's really got something. I was drawn to thinking about really one golf ball when I was hitting it. I wasn't actually drawn to think about ProV1X, even though it felt like ProV1X when we were hitting a few initial ones I said to you for ProV1X. To me, I was drawn to a TP5X.
Right, okay.
That's what I thought I was hitting, equivalent-wise.
Yeah.
Right, because the spin was a little bit a little bit less. I think the spin was just a hair less than I see in some golf balls, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually a little bit more inclined to probably like a golf ball like this. Launch numbers with the driver were perfect.
Yeah, really good.
12.6 and 2100 is exactly what I want to see.
Yeah.
Ball speeds were good for where I was at.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good ball. It's good quality.
It's a really good golf ball.
They're doing the right stuff with, like you said, they might not have, ball cannons and stuff like that, but they are developing a ball. It's not a catalog ball.
Yeah.
I like to use the word catalog. There's a
Yeah,
lot of catalog shafts and everything out there, but
yeah.
this is engineered properly, and for the price point, it's right there, competes with everyone.
Now, are they outsourcing their testing, just as we were thinking there about ball cans and stuff? They probably are sending their stuff to be tested by robots and ball cans and stuff. I'm sure they are, but what we're talking, guys, is as an infrastructure, or how the infrastructure they have as a company, they're a smaller company, their overhead is less. That's why they pass on the savings to you guys, ultimately to save a little bit in the retail portion.
Definitely.
So take advantage of that, because really this is a really, really premium golf ball in every way.
Yeah, I like it. I'm impressed. I'm going to try it this weekend.
I know. Well worth it. Well worth it. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Last week we tested a golf ball for $250 a dozen. This week we're testing a golf ball at $50 a dozen. I can promise you want to go with the $50 a dozen based on these results. Everything that we hoped it would do, it done in spades.
Yeah.
And no one is going to be disappointed if the OnCore X2 is their golf ball of choice, the VERO X2.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.